right, welcome everybody to our October 14th Board of Education regular business meeting. May I please have a motion to call the meeting to order? So moved. Second, Linda, all in favor? Aye. Please stand for the pledge. And a motion to approve tonight's agenda, please. So moved. Carol, second. Michelle, all in favor? Aye. And with that, we have our liaisons. My favorite part. Ooh.
I haven't lost in a long time.
Wait, do I get to pick?
So that means you go
I
first.
go first? Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, hello everybody. Hopefully everybody had a good long weekend. I know it was much needed. A little update on homecoming. All the hallways turned out really well. I personally think the juniors' Welcome to the Jungle was the best, but you know. And then during lunches, we also had some like fun activities. So we had snow cones, popcorn, karaoke, and Plinko boards, like on each one of the days. So that was really fun. And then the seniors won the pep rally, of course. I swear they win every year. Okay. But overall, homecoming was a success. And then our music department is having their first concert coming up on October 23rd. This one is a little bit different compared to the winter and spring ones because it is a Prism concert. So basically that means there's just going to be continuous music throughout the entire time, so no breaks for clapping in between. So it's going to hop from like each department, so maybe an orchestra piece to a band piece to a singing one, or like some smaller group stuff. So that should be fun. And then our autumn fanfare for marching band was a great success. This happened October 4th. I'm not sure how the marching band placed, but I'm sure they did fine. And then I mentioned Mr. Fedor's Earth Science class last month for the humanitarian aid mapping for natural disasters, but this month he's doing a food pantry collection contest in his classes. So whichever class brings in the most non-perishable foods wins some fun kind of party day. And the class in first place right now has so far brought in 324 items, so that's really good. And then on the theme for Halloween, NHS is doing a trunk or treat on the 19th, and they are also encouraging people to bring in new unwrapped toys to help the Pirate Toy Fund. So that is something fun, but also for a good cause. So that's all I have.
Great, that's great. All right. Hello, everybody. It's good to be back. We had such an exciting month filled with so many exciting things. A few weeks ago, I had my last ever Spirit Week, which was kind of sad, but I also really enjoyed it. It was definitely one of the best Spirit Weeks I've had, which could be slightly biased because it's the first year that my class won. Like she said, the seniors always win, but ours, we've been in last place for too long. Our Spirit Week days were super, super fun for the seniors. On Monday, we had Senior Citizen Day, which I went all out. Titan Tuesday, and then holidays, the seniors were New Year's. And Thursday was Ancient for seniors, which is also annual. And Future for all of the other grades, so it was Ancient versus Future. And on Thursday, it was also our homecoming night, and then Friday was our prep rally and class color day. As I said, the seniors did win, but the juniors almost got us. That night was also our homecoming game where we beat Fairport, so it was just overall really lucky week for us. During the week to replace phones, we had a photo booth running during the lunch blocks. I have like 5 of them in my bag of the little strips. Previously in the month, we also had our big football game against Schrader, where we won, our varsity won for the first time in like, I've heard different things, but I heard I heard it was like the first time in either 7 or 10 years. Yeah, 10 years, which is super, super big. These past few weeks we've also had college representatives come and talk to juniors and seniors, and we also had our annual college fair. Model UN is also preparing for our Hilton conference coming up on November 1st and 2nd. And I'm also happy to announce that me and my best friend Colleen Weller started a new club at Thomas called Movie Club, which we've been wanting to do for so long. And we're already in like 5 different clubs, and we were just super excited to kick this off, and we'll be starting that later this month. So, and we have a new board member coming soon, but she wasn't able to make it here. But you'll see her next time. And that's all for us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Nice job.
WTA.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
You guys do such a great job. Thank you. And because of that, we have this theme tonight of behind the scenes, the Spirit Week, the behind the scenes of everything going on. You know what it takes to pull off that week. It's been probably over 100 hours by each class. You all know that's what goes into our planning of our lessons, our curriculum, implementing all for the reasons we are here, our students. And being October, we want to really focus on a few things of behind the scenes. Our role modeling of empowering students, the activism that they take in starting clubs of interest area and finding commonalities, which is so important in making those connections, as well as being able to have a voice when you can have a voice. October is filled, you guys know that. And October is filled with so many, the Strides for Walk, the Warrior Walk, whether we are WTA members who are survivors, who are walking in memory of other WTA members, or people we have worked with on any bargaining unit in any capacity, whether we are donating, joining. We are so active at this point. We have 2-3 things each weekend going on that people are going. I believe they're going from the Strides for Breast Cancer Walk to the SEPTA tournament this year, along with something we did on Friday that is near and dear to our hearts, the pantries. We have these numbers. 3,245, 16,000, 27, 37, and 7. This is at the elementary school last year. The Emmanuel Lutheran partnered up with WTA giving donations. We didn't donate all of this. You helped us, the community helped us. But over 3,245 bags were packed with 16,000 items to 36 weeks, 27 snack bags. This is to our elementary buildings alone. Our elementary buildings alone. This is what we are a part of. This is what we adapt to when life gets bigger and bigger and bigger. We take what we can and we show students how to have a voice. Do what we can. We might be able to donate, even some of us can donate a case of peanut butter, but 16,000 items were donated to the Emmanuel Lutheran program. That's our community, and we are all part of that. I have Kelly here with me this evening because Megan, because we have, and I have shared with you guys, WTA has evolved into secondary pantries because we know these families didn't disappear. We know there's other avenues that happen in life where people need food, and it needs to be accessible. And in our 4 secondary buildings, pantries are available, and we are coming together. We have met in the community. In front of you is a pamphlet. It's a draft, but it's a pamphlet of people who met, of things that are available and we can access and we can help our students access. Because we know that if we don't have that basic need of food, thriving to learn is going to be an obstacle. the food is going to be an obstacle. There are certain things we can't take away, but we can help with that food insecurity. And these numbers speak it. And people like Kelly, WTA members, it's at our heart, it's at our core, and we know you support it immensely. So thank you, and I'm going to let Kelly talk for a little bit.
Does anyone have questions about the food pantry? So I started it here at Spry 3.5 years ago. We were speaking about a student on my team, and there was a concern about her electricity being shut off. And I said, well, if her electricity is being shut off, is anybody concerned how this child's getting food? And nobody could answer the question. Having taught at Clem South Elementary School for 21 years, I was very familiar with the Emmanuel Lutheran program and knew that we had offered that to students and that we did that at every elementary school. And I was shocked to find out that we didn't do it at the upper level. I did find out that at Willink, they did have a pantry. I think they were the only secondary school at the time. So I worked with Mary Hurley over in Willink, and she helped me get ideas, and then I started the one at Spry, and then I reached out to the 2 high school principals to say, hey, if we're doing it here, do you guys have anything there? And then their program started, so like every building now has something, either Emmanuel Lutheran for elementary or a private pantry within your building if you're secondary. Last year, Marjorie from Hope reached out to myself and the other food pantry organizers here at Willink, and we started the Webster Food Insecurity Coalition. So it's really looking at all of the organizations because there seems to be a lot of need in Webster, and the need has been growing the last several years. So they were really looking to pool resources and find a way that we could get all this information on one page so that no matter what organization people went to, they would realize the schools can help, your churches can help. Like you don't have to be Christian, but anybody can go. There's special dinners that are put on. Hope itself is phenomenal. They give food, they give clothing. There's financial assistance at times when needed, even here within the district. So there's just a lot of resources and really trying to get them in one spot for families and make it easier for them to get the support that they need. I can say here at Spry, the pantry, I open it in the morning during homeroom, so that's my homeroom, but it's visited throughout the day. So students can, if they don't come in the morning or they don't feel comfortable coming during homeroom, they can go see a mental health provider, or they can go to their house office, and somebody will always get them where they need to be. We just currently moved it actually to the conference room next to the main office, so it's even easier for kids to get it. I mean, they can go right in, and Kim Stathopoulos and Amy Falzoy are amazing, and they get kids in and get them what they need. And then last year, we had 8 families request boxes of food over breaks. So like when we think about breaks, it's a longer extended time, so really trying to get a box or 2 home. And that consisted of vegetables, fruits, any canned goods. It was a different theme each break, so Thanksgiving, Christmas, February, and spring, so we did it 4 times. And then Kim Stathopoulos, his husband, donated all of the meat. So Thanksgiving, we did turkeys for everybody, so that we had coolers and they came and picked up their turkeys. We did ham, I think, at Christmas. But we did ground beef, I think. I don't know. We tried to change it up a little bit so that everybody got that, along with a gift card to get fresh produce and vegetables and milks should they need it. So the need is there. It has been rising. When I started it 3.5 years ago, I would say I sent home boxes to 3 people, so 8 to 10 last year was a big jump. And now we're just in the stages of September, October, trying to identify kids, you know, the ones last year, they still in need, and then I've already had families reach out to me to say, hey, we need help. You know, I've got one child at Spry, and I've got another on the way, and how can you help us? So then also we reach out to, or at least I do, Jamie Buss runs the organization, so she used to be a Clem South parent, and her kids are my kids' age, so right away I shot off an email to her, like, can we get assistance at Christmas time? And she was like, absolutely. You take the information, even though the due date was like the next day, she was like, just get them on the information and we'll take care of it. So we'll work as a school. I believe that our students' council adopted, so we did it last year, and then everybody in the school and all the kids and teachers like get stuff and then get it home to kids in need. So it's been going well. It gets better each year. The longer you do it and the more you start to think about how a pantry runs. Specifically, there are kids that don't live in apartments. So if they're living in a motel room, they don't have access to a stovetop. So like pasta is something that's often donated, and I'm like, honey, do you want to take some pasta and sauce home? And she was like, no, I don't have that thing. And I was like, what thing? And she's like, you know that thing you cook it on? And I go, stove? And she goes, yeah, I don't have a stove. So it, like, just that one conversation completely changed the way I thought about how to stock a food pantry. How can I get items that don't need a can opener? How can I get items that kids can do on their own and they don't need milk and they don't need butter for, and that they don't need a stove for? Which isn't necessarily the most nutritionally dense, but it is food. So those are just all the different components that come into the food pantry, but it's up, it's running, it's going well, and we collected at Teachers Teach Teachers. So I worked with Craig Johnville, and we, got everything boxed up and then brought it back to each of the schools. So that was huge. That was a huge thing. And then our Spirit Week, our kids here donated. And I mean, they filled the pantry, and then I have like 3 more buckets, which is like 10 times the amount that I had last year. So that's been really great. So that's it from my end.
And then in October, we have the Concert and Code Apparel. So we have avenues to food and we have avenues to clothing, because we know there's a need and we know we got to get it to our students and their families. Thank you.
That is great. Thank you guys so much. And it takes people like yourselves to lead that. So kudos to you for doing that for our kids and certainly for our community. So I appreciate your leadership and all your efforts in doing that and making that happen. So thanks, Meg. Thanks, Joan.
WTA takes that
Yep.
role and just
Yeah,
evolves.
it is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. If I could have my friends, Mark, Brian, Aaron, and Kristen, if you guys could come on up and join. I will begin here while you're finding your place. Mark, if you want to take a seat over near the computer, you're going to end up going first here. I'll call on you in just a second. But first, I want to actually start out my report tonight because I'm just thrilled. I love this time of year, but also it's a great opportunity to pause and celebrate a group of people that make a huge difference in our community, our Webster Central School District Board of Education. This week, school districts throughout the state celebrate Board of Education Recognition Week. And I want to take a moment to thank our board members for all that they do throughout the year for students, for faculty, for staff, and the One Webster community. I have seen firsthand the countless volunteer hours throughout the year that this special group of people dedicate to the needs of our students, families, and our staff members. So my sincere gratitude, and I do know that I speak for everybody around this table when I say thank you so much for serving our district and our community. First, President of the Board of Education, Janice Richardson. Our Vice President of the Board of Education, Linda Diagardi. Board Member, Carol Barnabas. Not with us tonight, but Board Member Maria Cortez. Board Member Michelle Lowe's. Board Member Jeff McCaffrey. Also not with us tonight, but Board Member Dave Metzger. And our 2 new additions to our Board of Education are ex officio student board members, Rebecca and Naya. Again, your dedication and your heart for kids is so appreciated because you guys don't do this for any other reason than for kids, and we really do appreciate that. All right, I'm going to move on to the next item here. We had an amazing event that I want to remind us of, and we welcomed 11 area bands to our One Webster community for the Webster Marching Band's presentation of Autumn Fanfare, and you can see that picture on your screen there. This show featured performances from marching bands across the regions, including our own award-winning marching band, the Pride of Webster. And I hope many of you had the opportunity to step out to the Webster Schrader Stadium to experience these fantastic performances. And thank you to the student musicians and performers who spend countless hours rehearsing their shows for all of us to enjoy. And I also would put a shout out to all of our staff and our directors and the parents. The parents is an army of people that come and help and make that happen. It is so much fun to watch that. And it's not just parents, it's grandparents, it's community members that all are part of that. They have their states competition coming up in a couple weeks. It's the 27th? I'm looking over at Heather. It's a Sunday. Is it that the 27th? 26th, thank you. It's the 26th. I think that they are on at 7:53 p.m. at the JMA Center at Syracuse University. So good luck to them. We also recently hosted the district-wide 4th grade fun run and our 5th grade orienteering day. Both events were wonderful opportunities for our students to have fun, stay active, explore the parks in Webster, and meet other students. And we are so grateful to our dedicated teachers, our staff members, our parent and student volunteers, the Webster Police Department, Fleet Feet, and the town of Webster for this collaborative event to ensure that all were successful. So thank you very much for that. And now it's my honor to welcome this evening Principal of DeWitt Road, Mr. Mark Schichtel, Principal of Willink Middle School, Dr. Brian Powers, and our two Wonder Care directors, Aaron Burns and Kristen Fenton. So I'll ask Mark to take it away from here.
Thank you so much. I have to say, the shine never wears off. I love being with you guys. It's an honor and a privilege for us to be able to present for our school and for our district. I was in the autumn fanfare, by the way, at one time when I was a 10th grader and 11th grader. I actually performed in that back in the day. So,
What was your instrument?
does anyone remember? I said it before. Tuba. I was a
Tuba.
tuba player.
Okay.
I was a tuba player. The tuba was almost as big as me when I started, so that's how. Yeah. So always the smallest guy on the stage. So today we're really presenting elementary campus news for our school and for our district. And what I would want to do is prioritize the information around the board goals. I know Kate was here last time you guys got together and had a presentation. She talked a little bit about those board goals, and I want to highlight some of those really important priorities. First of all, that we're prioritizing literacy this year and really focusing on that professional development, high quality instruction. We're challenging our students to move beyond proficiency this year, and we're applying data through professional learning communities. That last bullet is really a big one. It's been a gathering point for our school and our district, and really there's some really great things that I want to show you tonight that we're doing to really make these board goals come to life. And those academic goals, increasing percentage of all students to demonstrate academic growth, and that universal and targeted resources. Again, two really important things. Those multi-tiered systems of support, again, a priority of our schools and something that our teachers have been rolling up their sleeves and really focusing in on and making it a priority of their day-to-day instruction, and you're going to see a little bit of that tonight. So how are we going to reach those goals? Strengthen our Tier 1 implementation of CKLA. You all know that that is our newest curriculum and program that we use at the elementary for literacy instruction. It has revolutionized, at least my building, for sure. The engagement, the excitement that comes home every night, and I hear from parents, I hear from teachers, and how much it's made a difference for our instruction. Administer and analyze DIBELS and diagnostics assessments. That is a one sentence that is so large. The amount of work that has gone into the benchmark assessments that we do, and now the diagnostic assessments that we use to really prioritize students and their instruction. And then the next bullet is really a big one, implementing a walk-to-read model and what I need. That is something that has been probably years in the making, and now is just, I look at it, I'm like, why haven't we done this earlier? It's amazing what we're going to be doing in this coming month, to really focus in on what kids need in their instruction, and then intervening in response with the greatest skill deficits, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So first off, I want to celebrate something that just happened last Friday. It was Superintendent's Conference Day, and the pictures you see, if you see something consistent, you'll see smiles. There's a lot of joy and learning, and I enjoyed the whole day and my opportunity to really learn alongside with our colleagues about a lot of different instructional strategies, really directly implementing strategies that we can use in the classroom right away. What's amazing about this day is it's our teachers, it's our resources, it's the knowledge base that exists in this community that's going to work and providing all teachers with a systematic levels of instruction, strategies they can use and take away from that day. I learned about vocabulary instruction as I sat alongside with the teachers. I learned about phonics programs and phonics strategies. I learned about science instruction with, you know, my background. That was right up my alley, so I really enjoyed that. So it really was a great day. I believe there were over 140 different options for teachers in the morning to learn from. And that, to me, is that's eye-opening, that we have that much instructional options for teachers that they can really take course that day and really learn and differentiate their own instruction. When I think about what I need, that was a day for teachers to get what I need and really get what they really could use in the classroom and support their instruction. So a lot of smiles around, some amazing things we learned that day, and I just was really proud of our teachers because it's our staff providing instruction for our staff. That's amazing. That's what this district can do because of the power of the amount of people that are involved in it. So that was really awesome. I also had that DIVLS, I'd mentioned that DIVLS and diagnostic assessment. This is a picture from our war room. This is actually our conference room, and these are our teachers hard at work. What happened to start our year is we talked about, we had all our children taking these benchmark assessments. From those benchmark assessments, we really learned deeply about where our strengths were and where our challenges were students. But that wasn't enough. This year we went into diagnostic assessments where we were really digging into the literacy, the phonemic awareness, all those different skill levels that really provide the reading instruction development. And from that information, we then sat down in groups. So we had 6 groups, K through 5, each of those groups sitting down and really looking at those lowest skill deficits. We looked at every individual child. Every individual child was hanging on the wall, and we were looking at the needs that they had. And from those needs, we really created what we are targeting as walk-to-read groups. So where we talked about before, this is what we're going to do, now it's actually coming to action. So you can see in those pictures, you see each one of those postcards. Those have individual data about each individual student. There are no names on there because we really want to focus on the data for our students at priority and focus in on what they're doing. So you can see our teachers really digging in and really rolling up their sleeves and really trying to prioritize where should students, what do they need, and how can I provide it for them? So that was a really great day, and it's something that really is a spark for our literacy instruction as we go forward. From that, we now break into those walk-to-read groups, and we're going to see that, and we'll see that develop over the course of the year. This is an exciting development for our district, and this is happening in all 7 of our elementary buildings. As we think about that Tier 1 instruction, this was a fun one I wanted to share with you. This is, oh, Mr. Neenan, you made the pictures. You're right in the middle. Look at that. It is engagement. What CKLA does is really engage with literacy. And what I see here is I see students who are having fun through literacy, and at the kindergarten level, they actually focus in on nursery rhymes. They use that to work on rhyming words, moral to study, literal recall, and judgment and opinions. So you can see what the students are actually doing. Well, they brought it to life. They can have a little fun with what they do. So you can notice that we had 4 nursery rhymes we have up in there was more. Little Bo Peep. We sat on our tuffet. We have all those different Jack and Jill falling down the hill and the jumping over the candlestick over in the corner there. But what they're trying to do is bring to life some of the engaging nursery rhymes that the students were learning about in the classroom. What I love about CKLA is they really take some of our classics and they bring them to life and engage children, and the children bring it home with them. So a lot of literacy, a lot of learning, but also a lot of fun that we're doing in our elementary schools. I brought it out too, the fun run. I couldn't help it.
Oh,
I was there.
Good.
It was an amazing day, over 50 years. And one of the first persons to really bring this out was Mr. Pratt, who happens to be the parent of one of our teachers, Chris Pratt, who led that. So I checked on that. It was over 50 years it's been around. And look at the faces, look at the smiling, and look at the running. Impressive amount of running that's going on there. But really, for me, I really think about the feeling of accomplishment. I feel about the feeling of self-worth that provides children as they go through and they really reach a goal, they reach accomplishment. At the lead of that is Ron Pohl on his bike. He led it off and brought us through, but it was really a great day. And amazing weather this year. We had to work around the weather a little bit, but it turned out to be amazing that day. And finally, I want to really finish up with something that happened. On our boardwalk, we actually had our students interview a board member. And you could see, what do you notice about these 2 pictures? I notice about them is the eye contact and the questions. Now, the questions that were asked of our board members were questions that the students derived with Dan Crowley was working with the students to really develop an interview and a series of interviews. So here's a few of the questions that were up there. How did you end up being a superintendent, Mr. Neenan? I counted it. I got to go back. I wrote it down. I want to make sure. I watched this interview. There were 6 stages along the way.
Oh, okay.
You were a teacher, you were an AP, you were a principal, you were assistant superintendent, you were deputy superintendent, and then you were finally superintendent. So it was a nice conversation, and I love the back and forth that our students had with their students. What we're really working on for students is the questioning and answering, the eye contact, direction, and the creativity that goes along with that, and asking a good question and following it to conclusion. The next one down there, Ms. Diagardi, we talked a little bit about what it meant to be a part of the board and be a part of Webster Education. And I loved that you used the phrase, the Webster High School, and that it was a part of your blood. So that was kind of fun. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed listening to that. And these presentations actually made it to our morning show, and then they were presented to all our students, so they got to watch. Finally, I wouldn't miss out on Miss Barnabas. The best part about this whole thing is, although it was a terrible night for Buffalo Bills fans last night, this was fun. This was fun because our student who interviewed her asked her about her love for Buffalo, and she admitted she was a Buffalo Bills fan, and she said, I used to go to the old stadium. And the student's like, oh, yeah, I've been to that old stadium. I think for the first and last time. She goes, oh, no. The old stadium. She corrected her, which, by the way, was the War Memorial, the Rock Pile. So, Carol, were you at the Rock Pile many times? Oh, yeah. Over and over. So that was fun. But it was enjoyable conversation. And really, they had a clever way of really coming back and forth. But I loved the surprise on her student's face when she said the old stadium. So truly a Buffalo Bills fan. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much, Mark. Actually, as Paul's coming up to switch it over to get Brian's slides up there, Colin was hilarious. So the one thing he said is, oh, and after the interview, he says, and my grandfather was the superintendent. So we had that conversation about his grandfather, who was a great guy and great superintendent. He really was. I got to know him pretty well. Yep.
To follow Mark, I'll take the opportunity to just say, not only as a Webster educator, but as a Webster parent of school-age children, the literacy program in our elementary buildings is incredibly noticeable and powerful. I've seen it in my own children in just the first year and month of implementation, and as the middle school principal at Willink, our current sixth graders having gone through that. So hats off to everyone that put that in place. And Mark, I want to thank you for showing me some of the, I don't know if you remember, we sat down last spring and you showed me some of the growth data from our DeWitt students, and it was something to celebrate. So hats off to elementary. Well, I'm at it. I'm also a big fan of WonderCare, and so I'm excited to hear from them today, but I've benefited from the incredible program these ladies run.
Your son made it onto our presentation.
Oh, boy.
So.
All right.
Oh, boy.
And you know what? Finally, just going off script, which is what I do, thinking about our conference day last Friday, it's like getting Taylor Swift tickets. Our teachers get up at 4 a.m. or whenever we turn that ability to sign up for your different sessions. And I mean, they're up and they're at it and they're trying to get the front row seats or essentially get into the sessions they want. So you talk about engagement. They're certainly engaged. So it was a great day. So moving on to secondary campus report. October really focused a lot around Board Goal 2, climate and culture. So at our Owl High and at our Owl Middle, I themed this as building connections and community through experiences, especially in some local areas. So Owl High School at local farms and working with community engagement. At Owl Middle, we had the opportunity to welcome Mr. Neenan and Mrs. Land and members of the board. And they were able to join us for, among other things, an end-of-day circle where students engage in kind of reflecting on their academic learning, their social-emotional learning of the day. And so as part of the group coming around, we were able to see that and participate in person, which really was great, informative, and a fun experience. At Schrader and at Thomas, as our student liaison shared, homecoming stole the show over the last couple of weeks and all the preparations that go in it, and it's wonderful to see you, and congrats on being a senior. At Schrader, you see some images of the events leading up to and at the homecoming game, including the homecoming dance. building on that, again, in similar ways at Thomas, the Spirit Week, the rallies, and I'm excited to share on behalf of the high schools that they found a large uptick in attendance and participation, particularly at homecoming extracurricular activities, in particular the homecoming dances. And I know, and I don't have Schrader's data, but I know it also shows an increase. Our library circulation has increased this fall, and we're going to keep an eye on that. And correlation doesn't mean causation, but we are interested to know and drill down, and if that is one of the impacts of our distraction-free learning that we are all journeying on this year. So congrats to both high schools in some fun celebrations and for Webster Thomas.
Before you go on, can we take a look at that picture in the middle? All right, so I'm pretty sure that that's our illustrious principal, right, Mr. Weeder? But the best part of that picture, look at the background. The two assistant principals are in the back just saying, yeah, this is great. Yeah, go ahead, Naya.
And a bunch of teachers in inflatable costumes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right.
It was
That's good.
hilarious.
That's good to know that they were a part of it too, because the two of them watching him, that's really funny. So sorry to interrupt, but thanks, Naya.
No, anytime. And we're lucky at Willing to share a campus, and so we particularly on this day, we got to be there in volume, if not in person,
Yeah.
from the fun that was taking place over there. And similarly, at Spry and at Willink, our students and our student councils organize Spirit Weeks to align with the homecoming activities and be a part of the community that obviously this is a big fall event. So Spry had theme days, collections, and some fun activities in school-wide assemblies. Like we saw from our elementary buildings, Spry and Willink are both focused with our building goals, specifically targeting improvement in literacy and growth. And I know our Spry teachers spent faculty time as well as afternoon time on our conference day really drilling down into their literacy goals. Year 3 for Spry, year 2 for Willink of really being on board with this targeted growth and excellence in literacy. So again, it's great to learn from our elementary colleagues who have been going through some changes, and we are on board to continue the work. At Willink, I went a little more specific, just because this was one that stood out to me as a former social studies teacher, but one of our goals is, again, our academic growth goal around literacy, very common with Spry. We also really want to share and find ways to increase engagement and interest in classes, especially in a distraction-free learning environment. And we're really working with teachers who have been great about sharing the ideas and the new tools and tricks that they're putting in their bags. So this was one that came my way, and I just wanted to share it, that teaching latitude and longitude and using the Chromebooks to do that as the old battleship privacy screen, and the coordinates of sinking someone's battleship, teaching the concepts of latitude and longitude. So our 6th grade social studies teachers did this, and I just thought it was a powerful picture of that juxtaposition of technology being really a barrier.
Yeah.
Not a barrier, but a barrier, and students enjoying and smiling and probably learning latitude and longitude much more deeply than they did when I was teaching it years ago. And again, just want to share Willink specific data. We are seeing increases in our library circulation, which is great, and not trying to say that's directly related to distraction-free learning, but we love to see that more students are reading, at least in our library data. And finally, at Goal, Goal has been off to a great start. And their experiential learning is something they wanted to highlight in the community and surrounding areas, and specifically in the Arboretum, at Strong and at Stokey Farms. But again, taking that learning both inside and outside of the classroom. So appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I want to thank all of you for the time and effort and care you put into the district.
Thank you so much, Brian. All right, now Aaron and Kristen. Oh, got to switch it up. Yeah, here we go.
Do you want to switch, maybe? Yeah. Let's do that. If you guys want to look up there and see who's Brian's son, you could probably pick them out. They look so much
Oh,
alike.
Thank you. So we're just going to kind of talk about a few different things. Go over a little bit of our numbers, our staffing numbers, student engagement, and then a little bit of community outreach that we do through WonderCare. To start with our numbers, this is per school in order of our largest school to our our smaller school, average per day, and then the number of unique students that we serve at WonderCare at each school. So it is, very interesting. You look at specifically at Plank South, 167 different students actually attend WonderCare at Plank South. So it's, we look at those numbers and we get pretty excited seeing that 771 students in the district we serve. So just wanted to share those numbers because they're large and I like numbers.
Just quick on our staffing. So right now, at this moment, we have 131 total staff who work for us, and we really couldn't do what we do without them. So they are our backbone. We have a very diverse staff team too. So we have high school students. We talked a little bit about them last year. We have high school students. We have students in college. We have teachers. We have teacher aides. We have cafeteria aides. We have me and Aaron. No, we have a full-time staff team who works alongside Aaron and I. But we also have people who are retired and come back to just work a couple hours a day. So it's for students to have that accessibility to those different types of people is really interesting, and the relationships they kind of form with different, a child forming a relationship with a 45-year-old as opposed to a high schooler is a very different, they kind of get the best of both worlds, we think, so. One of our biggest focus this year is on student engagement and the ways we're trying to keep the children involved and their voices heard, because obviously for us, happy children mean happy families, mean happy staff, typically is the way we look at it. But the way we're trying to do that is really, we've been focusing in on the last probably year or so with our fifth graders. Now, when they get to fifth grade, they are middle school-esque, okay? They are ready to be out the door. But what we found in channeling that energy is to give them more responsibility in the program. So they've taken on leadership roles. They'll push in with the younger students. They'll help us do snack. They'll help us do projects, lesson plans, anything like that. So we've had a really great group this year and last year who are kind of taking on those roles. The other thing we've been focusing on this year is surveying the students. So each of our sites kind of tailor a survey that we're giving out to them and how we are doing what they would like to do in the program to an extent, right? So just getting their ideas on lesson plans, activities. Food is the big one. They love food. And different types of things they want to see in the program. And then also with that is what we have found when we talk about our programming and the activities we run is if their voices aren't heard with a specific activity, sometimes it doesn't fly. So we have really focused in on letting their ideas kind of come to the forefront in games and different types of things that they want to see.
And then just the last thing is we have decided, I think the last 2 or 3 years, we've picked some local organizations to help out with community outreach and collaboration. And so the top one there is the One Soldiers at a Time that is right here in Webster. And I think, Aaron, you connected us 2 or 3 years ago, and this woman is fabulous, and she loves us. But it's great. We collect, they're in need for toothpaste and hard candies, and then also cards and that we give to that she will then give to the soldiers. And so she struggles a lot, but we went right to her house and donated all the items, and she was overwhelmed. So we felt really good about that, thinking, well, we just filled one trunk, but she was overwhelmed, so that was exciting. And then the last one is Hope House, and I know earlier we had heard a little bit about the food pantries and such. Our specific connection with the Hope House is one of the staff that works for us has a connection with somebody there. And when they specifically get low on items, they're telling us specific, so we're actually collecting just rice or just, cereals or just canned food or peaches or something of that sort. So, so that's kind of nice that we have just, can hone in to help fill those gaps of those most popular things at the Hope House. So I think that's it. Yep.
Oh, that is fantastic. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, ladies. You do a wonderful job. And I'll just close. Actually, the last thing I was going to mention, and Brian and Mark both already mentioned, but our conference on Friday. We had our One Webster Learning Conference on Friday, and it was tremendous. It's such a great day that we started this a few years ago, like the gentlemen were saying. But I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you so much and a big round of gratitude towards Aaron and Greg and Daria and our team. We have a committee that puts that together. But we had over 140 sessions, and like they highlighted, these are our own people. The majority of the sessions are led by our own people teaching each other, which is I think it's a feather in our cap for our district. I really do. It's a unique thing. It's a wonderful thing. So, and then the four of you, thank you so much for your presentation tonight, but even more so, thank you for your leadership. We appreciate
Thank you,
what
guys.
you do. Thanks. Have a great night.
Thank you. All right. Advocacy.
Advocacy.
Brian and Aaron.
All right, I'll start us out as soon as he gets us going here.
Yeah.
Thank you. You all set? Everybody good? All right, I'll start us out here. And actually, Aaron, you want to go to the next slide? Yeah, okay. First of all, we're so glad to have this opportunity to speak with you this evening about a crucial part of our mission that extends far beyond the walls of our school into the heart of our community. Our senior cabinet members play a truly vital role in serving as key advocates for Webster's interest across our town and our region. Our mission is an active one. It involves constant engagement with local government officials, business stakeholders, and community partners, all to ensure that the needs of our students and families are central to the conversation. And that is exactly what we are hoping and excited to present to you tonight. We will be highlighting the many ways that our senior cabinet is involved in our community and the diverse roles that they play advocating for the Webster Central School District. It's about more than just attending meetings. It's about building meaningful connections and relationships through networking and education. These connections that directly benefit our students and ultimately enhance the educational experience for every single one of our community members. So tonight, we look forward to sharing a little bit of a closer look at the essential work that we do beyond our walls. And to start us off, I'm going to ask Mr. Freeman if he would talk a little bit about advocacy activities.
Happy to talk about what we're doing on the state and kind of the local level. So first up is just some of the New York State advocacy things that we're working through, engaging with our legislators through a couple different avenues. You know, there's always a Zoom in December that we get to hop on and advocate for the district. But the in-person Albany trip every March that I've been part of now going on 11 years out there, where we get some FaceTime with our legislators to advocate and use Webster-specific data as much as we can in that advocacy. Is always, you know, one of the nice things over the 10 years, I guess I could point out is things that kind of make it into some of the legislation that you sat there and talked about in March is always nice and shows that it does work. You know, and from that, locally, meeting with our state reps, and advocating for various things, whether it's on the federal side for grant funding, whether it's with the governor's aides, talking about different priorities and truly the impact some legislation has on the district. And anytime we could show them locally on local visits, you know, our doors are always open. We always have that open invite. We've many times escorted some of our state legislators on the Senate side and on the Assembly through our buildings, shown them some of the great things we are doing here so that they can take that tangible thing that they've seen and take it back and advocate for us during the legislative sessions. And then, you know, we're all active in kind of those state organizations. whether it's New York State school boards, New York State Council of Superintendents, New York State Association of School Business, or the HR is Maslow. They're the only ones that don't use New York State for some reason in their acronym. But just advocating for Webster through those groups and participating in our state organizations to drive change and for local education is something we all participate in. And then on the local side, we have some examples on the next slide here of working with the towns and our local police leadership and, when and with helping them get the grant years ago as signing off as a partner. But, even going on the granular of what we do every day, working with various county agencies, the county highway department. Our schools are bordered by town, village, county, highway roads. So working with all those various municipalities, we had shared service agreements with the fire departments for fueling, with Monroe County Sheriffs, with the village, with the town. Things like that we're constantly on a day-to-day basis collaborating with our local partners on. All the way down to, the Shipbuilders Creek project, which had about 4 or 5 different organizations coming together to replant and clean that up. So just some things, high level, that we're doing on a, daily basis.
And the number of people that we've been able to interact with, that when something does come up, we know who to contact. We know who to talk to. And it's not the first time, and it's not an introduction through an email. It's because we've had relationships with them, too. So I think thanks, Brian, for mentioning all those things. I think the next slide, I'm going to turn over to Dave.
Just to clarify, it's New York State ASPA. It's the Association of School Personnel.
Excuse me.
So, and we do have MASLA, as Mr. Freeman has pointed out. So, yeah. So apparently we need 2 organizations to help us. Kind of building off of, we wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the education and empowerment that we do, certainly with the board in collaboration, and certainly amongst the community and those that we interact with. So on the next slide, I've got some examples that I'll just kind of break out a little bit as some points we want to make. One being, a big one that the senior cabinet attends along with the board is the Greater Rochester Legislative Breakfast. That's a really significant advocacy opportunity for us to, not only sit down in a more casual setting to have honest conversations and honest dialogue about what Webster needs or what we're advocating for, or that opportunity that we don't normally get in public office. That's tough to get that. But Brian does a nice job in interacting just outside of that realm, but it also take advantage of those opportunities when they come.
Before you go on to the next one, sneak preview to this year's breakfast. We're going to have a cool presentation by one of our current board members, Naya. Yay!
Hey, all right.
So she's going to be doing an opening for us. So we're
Awesome.
excited.
Awesome. Another area, kind of going in the middle there, the new board training. So just empowering board leadership. As many of you know, when you come onto the board for the first time, it's a little bit daunting and there's a lot to learn. And our very own Brian Freeman has done a significant amount of work in that area, not only with the board, but also he's been asked to do presentations around Monroe County with New York State. And that's led to an opportunity where he is currently coordinating the prestigious SUNY Brockport Business Administrators Program. So he gets an opportunity and has a hand in really shaping and inviting new professionals into the business administration world. So great job there, Mr. Freeman. And 2 other items, deepening the community connections, and like to point out Dr. Chowell and the work that he does, tirelessly working and engaging our families within the community, strengthening those ties certainly for sure, and giving families an opportunity to be heard and listened to. And I know he works very, very hard to validate needs and concerns that are raised, and provides that voice for our families in the community. So thank you, Dr. Chowell. Yeah. And finally, the Community Champion event, which is connected to the Act for Education. And it's really that opportunity to, if you remember our messaging last year, I believe, the Champions of Education, it's kind of in that same realm of trying to really be advocates for public education. And so Act for Education works with county schools in trying to encourage people to support, whether that's through budget process or that's in hiring. They've done a lot with our local RASPA group in trying to help us with hiring shortages. So ACT is a pretty important piece that we've worked with, and the Champions event is one of those opportunities that senior leadership participated in. And that's...
Yeah, thank you, Dave. I know Aaron's actually going to talk a little bit about that chamber presentation in the next slide, actually, too. So I think it overlaps a little bit. So I'm going to turn things over now to Aaron.
So our next section is really about networking and about getting to know people in the community, but also the community getting to know us. So I think we've had the hashtag telling our story for a couple of years now, but we live that. We make sure that we're telling our story in person every day. So building those strong collaborations and networks not only helps us tell our story, but also unlocks access to things for our students. So a couple of examples for you. The Webster Schools is part of the Webster Economic Development Alliance, and so we were part of the work that brought Fairlife into Webster. So while the school district isn't often seen as a business partner in that way, we are sitting at the table with other local leaders helping make those decisions, which hopefully is a future employer of a lot of our students. So the Rochester Chamber of Commerce, which Brian actually sits on as a superintendent representative, is another place where we get to make connections with people outside of Webster, so the greater Rochester area, which offers then opportunities for us to continue to tell our story and for our students. Webster Chamber of Commerce, we did present this summer there. We have 2 teachers who go to the Webster Chamber of Commerce meetings every month, which is pretty amazing. I bet that's pretty unusual for 2 teachers to sit on the chamber. And I know Brian also attends those meetings. And we were able to talk with them about what we're offering to our community, what our educational program is, so they know more about what Webster Schools is really about. We also do a lot of collaboration with BOCES. I have a picture of Monroe 1 BOCES up there, but also Monroe 2 BOCES as a partner. I think of the collaborative as working smarter. Because if I have a question, I have an instant bank of people that I can go to really talk about what's on our mind. If we have an idea for a new curriculum, a new program, I have instant access to the best way to learn more about that. So I think that Monroe partnership is really key for us. I know the board just visited to see BOCES in action, we were grateful for the tour and for hearing more about their programming. BOCES also, as an arm of the state, does a 10-year cycle of regionalization. So they look to see what services we can do better in working together to support our community. So one of the things that our BOCES is studying right now is transportation. So there's lots of conversations about electric buses and what we need to do to provide transportation to our students. And so that is something that we're grateful that BOCES gives us that opportunity to say, hey, let's talk across districts and really see what we can do to benefit our communities, because there could be a cost savings for us there. And then finally, the community events that we participate in, the idea of a Senior Citizens Day where we can bring people into our community. I think about YEA and all of the connections that have grown over the last couple of years. I think the networking that we're doing is helping the community understand what our business is and growing all those opportunities.
Thank you, Aaron. The next slide is about community involvement highlights. And so I'll just highlight these 3 in particular ones where there are many, but these are just 3 examples. I actually recently had an opportunity to go to a legislative partners breakfast with Congressman Joe Morelli and the Western New York Optics Workforce, and it was sponsored by the American Center for Optics Manufacturing. And I tell you, I learned a lot at this meeting, but I also learned how critical our region is to the advancement of laser and optical technologies for our country's Defense Department, which was pretty cool. And it was really amazing to hear how much, not just the Rochester area, but certainly the Rochester, Buffalo, and Syracuse corridor with Micron coming, but also a lot of what happens with the partnerships of RIT and U of R. It's a hub for the country. I would love to highlight the many different things that we've had a chance to and been invited to. The Golisano Institute for Business and Entrepreneurship. Most recent one was last week. I had an opportunity to step over there with Joe Montemero, and the discussion was on how AI is impacting the nonprofit sector. But also, when you're there, you're networking, you're meeting different people, and it's really neat to talk to some of the leaders of the Golisano Institute about our Webster grads. And so we've got several of our Webster grads that are there right now, and they are hitting it out of the park. They are doing a great, great job. And then the last thing that's on that slide also is our partnership with our youth sports. You know, we think of our youth sports, and you think of the number of buildings and the number of courts and pools and fields that our youth sports use, and we have that partnership with the town and the rec department because it's something I think that we believe as a community that is really important. So another great partnership there. And then the last slide is really just to remember our why. We do remember our why. We want to put Webster in the best possible light because we know that when we do that and we have these networking opportunities with other community members, but while all of the different entities that we talked about, it helps our kids. And that's what we're all about. So with that ends our report, and we'd love to take any of your questions.
For the size of our district and town, whatever, I don't think anybody could do it better. Like, I don't think anybody could be any more involved in all these aspects that truly benefit staff, students, families. I give you guys so much kudos because it's a lot, and you do it well. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Thank you for all you do
thanks.
to advocate and to tell our story and to make sure that our students and our staff get what they need. It's very much appreciated. You all go above and beyond, and I know it travels into the many evenings you're out and away from your families, and we appreciate it, and we see you doing it all, so thank you.
Thank you guys very much. We love partnering with you. So that ends the report. I think, is it take action?
Yep, motion to approve the instructional report as presented. So moved, Michelle, second. Linda, all in favor?
Aye.
And on to business.
All right, my turn.
Yep.
So first up is the July Treasurers Report. You might be wondering why we're in October, just getting around to the July Treasurers Report. It is unique because we have to close the books, which is coming up next, on June of 2025 before we could start the books on July of 2025 with the fiscal year changeover. And so we don't do the accounting for July until the audit is completed. So that's why it's always a little behind schedule because the audit doesn't get completed until we just had our audit committee draft at the end of September. So just one unique thing about July, pointed that out. And then if there's any questions on anything from the summation, let me know.
Motion to approve the July 2025 Treasurers Report as presented. So moved, Carol, second. Jeff, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, next up is the aforementioned audit. It is done. We had our audit committee 2 weeks ago that our Tom Zuber presented and did a high level and some weeds of the audit of 67 pages of audit goodness. So just a couple things to point out. We did finish the year in a positive note. We got an unmodified audit opinion, so it was clean. Just a couple things we have to clean up on the management comment letter when it comes to purchasing that we're going to be a little more stringent with that they pointed out. So the corrective action is in there as well as the executive summary for everybody that kind of surmises the financials. So any questions, follow up from the summary I put together on that? It's true. You did live it.
Motion to approve the final audit and corrective action. So moved, Carol, second. Jeff, all in favor?
Aye.
Change order.
And the last is a board approved change order because it's over the $35,000 state limit. And so we've had some work being done to the back parking lot at Schrader, the athletic entrance. And so if you remember a few years back, we did the new track. And so and actually Pooler did a lot of the work for that as well. They were the low bid. So we started having some conversations about the throwing area with Sean Streggy, the Schrader AD. That is kind of, it's to the south of the parking lot there. He brought some safety concerns forward. It was an area that we did not touch when we did the track, just because there's some multiple fields over there, and so we kind of left that one hanging out there. And so we threw a couple ideas down on paper with Labella and asked Pooler to take a look at pricing this out to improve that facility for some safety reasons. And so they did, and it checked out. So we're presenting this change order to you guys tonight to increase their contract to get this work done. It's within the contingency budget of Schrader for this, so there is funding available as part of the project. So questions on any of that?
I just, how often does something like this happen? If this
A change order like this,
Yeah.
I'd say for a project this side, probably like 3 or 4 times we'll get into something and be like, all right, now's the time we should look at doing that.
and it involves safety too.
Correct. It's all about the direction that they're throwing in, the way the
Right.
old shot put and throwing is designed and the direction it's going. So to turn it, we got to rip everything out and kind of redo it.
It'll be good. I mean, we also have the state competition coming this year for us, and we're going to have a ton of kids, and safety is important there, really important for us. But it's also going to be something that'll be able to use for us for our
And then moving
own meets.
forward, it's going to be.
Section 5,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
So it's hard to predict when the original one is done that this could happen, so, right? I mean,
Yeah, it
I
wasn't.
was reading it and that's what I thought. And then
Well,
I
we're-
saw
yeah.
safety and I was like, oh, yeah.
When we planned out the original, I mean, that track, when we flipped it out, was original to the building. And so the new track was kind of like, that took all the dollars, and we could live with the way the throwing was set up at the time. But now, a few years later, so those concerns have now elevated. Track's done. Hey, can we look over here now?
Good.
So Brian, you mentioned this is within contingency. Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, motion to approve the change order. So moved. Linda, second. Jeff, all in favor? Aye. That parking lot is so much better, by the way. Now that we're done voting on that, I just want to say that parking lot is so
I
much
know
better.
it. And this will actually help that too.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
This will help.
Well, it's just like grassy
I
knoll
know.
and just.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, proposed NISBA resolution. So Carol is our rep Thursday. If anyone has any questions, comments, concerns on any of the motions that NISBA has, hopefully you read through them. Carol, I mean, anything I had some questions on, I figured out, so I think I'm good.
Yeah,
We just talked about a few of them, so we think we were good.
I think we're all good,
Yep.
yeah.
All right.
Trust you.
We trust you, Carol, you got this.
I know.
All right, motion to approve the NISBA resolutions.
So moved.
So moved. Linda, second. Carol, all in favor? Aye. All right, and then we just have some revisions to a couple policies, short and sweet. We're adding nicotine to the alcohol, smoking, tobacco for both students and staff. Believe it or not, nicotine wasn't included, so now it is. And then one small addition to the school safety plans. We're just adding some details about roles and responsibilities and procedures.
Yep.
This is the first read. And it's the first read, thank you. Any questions? All right, with that, motion to approve the first read of the proposed amended policies 5681, 5640, and 7320 in order to move them to a second read next meeting.
So moved.
So moved. Michelle, second. Linda, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Board member highlights. Who wants to go?
Actually, I'll start. So, I don't know if anyone knows, Brian was elected, our trustee superintendent, to the Honey Falls Alumni Hall of Fame for his leadership and things. So again, want to congratulate you on that. again, I think everyone else recognizes how well you do things, so congratulations.
Thanks, Jeff.
A lot of things. Oh, I'll do it really fast. Okay, the audit committee, which I love the way everything was laid out. Brian, he's not here now, but he does just such a great job of making, yeah, and when I have my multiple questions, he's always there, and I appreciate that. And the person, I can't remember his name. Tom. Wow. He made something that we would think would be unpalatable, however many pages, and he just went through it so well. So I'm glad to be on that committee and learning. PTSA meetings for Willink and DeWitt, and I was able to go. I like it. Right now, there's going to be an online meeting. I don't know if I'll get to that. But we visited the DeWitt building and the Willink building, and we had those conversations with the students. And one of the things I loved was that they had follow-up questions. And as a retired English teacher who is always, when they did it so spontaneously, it's such a credit to the students and teachers and families. Also, we visited DeWitt and Willink, as well as going to the meetings, but we visited BOCES, and that is always such an amazing visit. It's so powerful, and they were working on the buildings when we went a couple of years ago, but this year it's in motion, and I'm so grateful to be able to see how much work is being done to help all of our students at every different stage. And yeah, I'm grateful to be on the board just so I can see all of these community things. Because these meetings are, they're good, but it's when we go out into the community that we really feel the power of what we do. So I'm grateful for all of that. And our leaders. Yeah.
I'll just comment on the conversations that we had, especially at Willink when we had the conversations about the distraction-free learning. Wow, how powerful they were. Right, they were wonderful. I'll just say there were many different comments that we walked away with, and the one kid who actually said that they were grateful that they did not have to worry during the day about their phone going off, whether it was a notification from friends or notification from family or something else, and they didn't have to worry about that. And them speaking to us and telling us that was super powerful. I thought it was fantastic. So they had some really positive things to say. And it had only been a few weeks with the distraction-free learning environment, but I thought it was great. So.
Oh, and I caught up with part of the community meeting too.
Yes.
And I was able,
Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, what I loved is that some of the kids went to the bathroom to try pull out their phones from their backpack, and they found that the high school kids, they found there were no messages.
Nobody was texting each other.
So they were like, okay. And then they went back, so they don't even bother now to check. Yeah, they seem happy. Honestly, they seem happier without the pressure. And I've talked to my own grandchildren, and they're like, it's fine. Yeah. It's not a big deal. So
I'm hoping we're giving kids their childhoods back a little bit more. I mean, they've got great childhoods. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you could say the same thing, right? But you actually spoke about it at the first meeting when you guys spoke about it too. But there's a happiness piece, which I love, and I think you're highlighting that, Carol. And I think you're right.
Yeah.
So
gives me hope.
Me too. You? Yep.
Oh, sorry. I hope I didn't steal everything.
We got lots of time.
Just a couple of updates. The Monroe County School Boards Association Legislative Committee will have the position papers, so the information will come out next month. So Michelle and I will be there with Erin, and we'll report back where the positions are. Want to thank Brian, Erin, and Joe Mondamero for information exchange and the AI committee work that you did. That was great, and talking about our strategic planning committee as well. This Saturday, Wen is having a drug take-back. It's from 10 to 2. Any medications that a household has that they'd like to dispose of, they can bring them to the town court building, and it's just a drive-through. You just drop them off, they'll throw them in the bins. Red Ribbon Week is coming. It's October 23rd to the 31st. So there'll be a lot of activities in many of the schools. Let's see. There is a SEPTA in Student Services Parent Information Night that is on October 21st, and that will be working with some of our staff here as well. And the AI Subcommittee will meet on Thursday. And we have a learning walk next week as well. And that's it.
We just went to another information exchange, which was good, with Hilton presenting the community partnerships that they have there, which when I wasn't sure of what all we had here, but we have most of it going on here, community partnerships. Lots of things.
That's good.
I think the only thing I would add, obviously PTSA, Plank North, Spry, State Road, I want to commend what PTSA is doing. I mean, they are spending a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of trunk and treats coming. I know Spry is doing a big event with Pinto Ron as a kind of a fun thing for the kids. But again, I want to take a shout out to the PTSA members and the parents because they are spending a lot of time, a lot of effort, and attending those meetings, you learn a lot. And again, I want to commend what they're doing.
Yeah. Principal Callahan's gonna get some ketchup and mustard all over here if the kids get if they raise so much. I know it. That'll be fun.
Awesome. Not much else to add. I mean, every other month, board presidents meet, so that was September, and then every other month, board presidents with their superintendents meet. That was last week. It's always good to chat with other districts, kind of see what's going on, run things by each other, catch up to date, like we talked about the position papers. So they're always very informative.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's good. Very good.
all right. And then brings us to consent agenda. Any questions, comments on the consent agenda? Awesome. So with that, may I please have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda? So moved, Jeff. Second, Carol. All in favor? Aye. That's done. That brings us to our last step here, which is visitor speaking time. So I believe we have someone signed up to speak tonight. So just friendly reminder that board is ready to listen, to share your ideas. You have up to 4 minutes. The light is there, the green, the yellow, the red, not an issue, but just so you know, it's like, yellow is a minute, I think, counting down, red time is up, but
It'll be right there.
it should be right there. Yep. And then I think we're good to go.
Yeah, so you want to announce it there, Heather?
Name, just so we know.
Thanks.
Perfect.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Engel. I am a parent within the district. I'm also a former student at Schlegel Road, Go Tigers. I was the first 7th grade class in Willink, and I'm a Thomas kid. So it's wonderful to continue to stay in the Webster community and now just be a representative in the role of a parent. So I'm here tonight to talk just a little bit about an initiative which some of you might be familiar with. It's called the Wait Till 8th initiative. There was a lot of talk around this movement 2 summers ago about when the Anxious Generation book had come out. I thought about bringing it, but I was like, oh, then I'm like waving this book, which is not the vision that I'm going for, but definitely where a lot of that research came out of. And then Jonathan Haidt, so H-A-I-D-T, is also doing just additional research in that gamifying of education and all of these different pieces, right? And so I think there was a lot of conversation when that book first came out, and I know a lot of administrators, I know Mr. Schichtel is behind me, so apologies, Mr. Schichtel. He's been a fantastic partner in terms of making some movement in the DeWitt Road School, which is where my kids go, 2 of them at this time, and then another one will join in a little bit, and that has been great. But I've been experiencing they're really interesting conversations with parents. I think whenever we're bringing up smartphones, which I think maybe we're anticipating with the ban-to-ban legislation or bell-to-bell legislation that had come forward. And so my goal in speaking tonight about Wait Till 8th is to help increase awareness about what this initiative is it's pretty difficult to start that conversation with other parents. I had brought it up at the DeWitt Dash very loosely with one of the parents from the PTSA, and the parent had said, "Oh, you're the no screens mom," and I was like, "Oh." Like, no, I'm the delay the smartphone, and obviously it was not the time or the place, and it wouldn't have gotten into it anyways. But my goal is to help increase the awareness of it, and then if I had a request, it would be, could we find a place for this initiative or more space for this conversation in, say, a newsletter or an email, or just start to expand or set a foundation for what that platform could be, that it's a working collaboration between the parents and the school district, because I think it's important. And my background is in higher ed, so I know the politics and the game of higher ed pretty well. At this time at the University of Rochester, prior to this, I was at the Rochester Institute of Technology in public health. So in public health, we talk about looking upstream, and that's pretty important to me. And while Abigail is only in kindergarten, I think it's never too early to start that conversation, especially coming off folks who have iPads as early as 2 and 3 years old. So I'll stop talking, but that's what I wanted to share a little bit. I'm only at 1:40. I have 1:40 left, so curious anyone has questions.
We just listen for this portion.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm new here. I'm happy to pull up the website. I think a lot of the times when I talk about it, folks are like, "Oh yeah, I'll take a look," which I'm guilty of that too, and then it might not come back around. I do have some handouts. Just you can scan the QR code and then it brings you to the website. But what I've gathered is that the communities in which this initiative has the most success is where many people know about it, right? We can say that about a lot of initiatives. But I think that there is a real opportunity, given a lot of the things that Mrs. Barnabas said, or different things that I heard earlier in the presentation about the value of the eye contact that students are now having, the value of the engagement, the increased sense of belonging, that those social connections can really be such a great foundation for to continue to build community. So I'm feeling pretty strongly about it, and I was almost going to let it go, but we at work were interviewing a student for a different position, and this student, who is from New Jersey, said that they had worked on a Wait Until 8th initiative within their community, and their mom was a school teacher, and I was like, oh, this is a sign. This is something here, right? And so that was just last week, and so here I am this week. But thank you for the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
What are the next steps? Oh, great. Thank you.
Thanks. Did you point to yourself? All right, that is the last item. So with that, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, Carol? Second. Linda, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Have a good night.